Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is how to calculate the p-value in JUMP. Now, it does it automatically. There's nothing to do. When we ran the chi-square test, it calculated it for us. So Pearson down here and 4.51, that's our testing statistic. Now the p-value 0.1047, I believe that is the p-value, but the only problem right now is I believe that the default is a 5% alpha level. So we're going to have to change that. So click this little red triangle up here and go set alpha level and change it to 1%. Okay, and okay, so the p-value is 0.1047. All right, so over here in our template, 0.10, let's call it 0.105 about, which is greater than any alpha we would select. So when the p-value is bigger than alpha, remember, we fail to reject HO. We knew that already. The testing statistic, remember, was 4.51, which is, here, and the chi-square critical value was 9.21. Now, remember, to get this 9.21, which there's a space for it over here in the template, that is gotten by looking up 1% alpha, 0.01, with 2 degrees of freedom. Now, and you go to the chi-square table and look it up, and it's 9.21. Now, remember, JUMP has those features built in. So, let me go here to add-ins. And if you remember, back in the beginning of the course, when we were calculating Poisson and negative binomial, normal distribution probabilities, there's this distribution calculator that we made a lot of use of. When you come to it, remember the default is normal. So we'll switch the normal distribution to chi-square. And the degrees of freedom for this one, remember, was a 2. Okay, and then it says, okay, what kind of calculation are we going to do here? Are we going to input values and calculate a probability? Well, no, because, remember, we have the probability, 0.01, and we want the value. Okay, so, which probability are we going to give JUMP? Are we going to give it the 0.99 or the 0.01? Well, as it turns out, it doesn't matter which one you give it, because it will take either. So first of all, input a probability, calculate a value. Yeah, that's the one I want. Now, it picks your brain over here, says, all right, what kind? Is it a left-tailed probability you're giving me? Is it a right probability, a center probability? What are you giving me? Well, right now, left is the default, and naturally, if I go left, then I would have to give it the 0.99. If I switch it to be a right-tailed probability, then naturally, I would give it the 0.01. Now, it doesn't matter which one you pick. I'll use the right-tailed probability scenario. So I'll put 0.01 in there, hit enter, and as you can see, it calculates the chi-square testing statistic for us. All right, so that's where you would get that 9.21 without having to go to your table. Now remember, when we were using JUMP for the two-sample t-test and all the two-sample single and two-sample hypothesis tests for the differences of means and proportions and what have you, it was really nice because the program gave us the critical Z or critical T score. As you can see, JUMP does not anywhere in its output over here give us the critical chi-square value, unfortunately. It's not the end of the world, but don't forget, we can either go to a table or just use that built-in feature for JUMP. All right, so at the end of the day, as you can see, this test failed to reject. And if you remember the hypotheses for the chi-square, the null hypothesis form is, whatever the two variables are. Here it's gender and one's belief in the death penalty. The two variables are not related, or we would say independent. And the alternative to that is that they are related or dependent. So we are failing to reject the null. So it appears that gender and one's belief in the death penalty, in fact, are not related in a significant fashion. All right, so hopefully this helps you out with running the chi-square test. I believe that to me, the hardest part really is taking the contingency table that you see, and converting that table into a JUMP table. once you have that in there, really the test speaks for itself. And then you can just grab all the values right off the output screen. All right, so I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Thanks.